Thank you,
Vinita?
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Mansaf Alam has been working as an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science, Faculty of Natural Sciences, Jamia Millia Islamia, Young Faculty Research Fellow and Editor-in-Chief, Journal of Applied Information Science. He has published several research articles in reputed international journals. His area of research include big data analytics, machine learning and deep learning, cloud computing, cloud database management system, object-oriented database system, genetic programming, bioinformatics, image processing, image retrieval, and data mining. He serves as a reviewer of various journals of international repute, like Information Science. He is also a member of the program committee of various reputed international conferences. He is an editorial board of some reputed international journals in computer science. I welcome you again, sir, and invite you to speak on the topic of big data analytics using IoT in cloud environment.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected Principal Sahab, faculty member, and my dear participant, good morning. It is my pleasure to give a talk in your college. So today's topic is very important topic, and there are lot of applications of this technology in the real life. So just in a few minutes, I'm sharing my slide. So friend, you have seen big data, analytics, IoT, and cloud computing. These are the three most important technology right now people are using. So there are certain questions in your mind. The first problem, you are working somewhere else, and at the evening you reach to your home. At that time, some people are not well, and you want to go to the hospital. But at the same time, a call comes from your company, your university. You have to come to the university. Then you will be in dilemma. What can you do? Whether we have to go to the hospital or in a college. So you will face a problem. So there is a technology, that is the cloud computing technology, will solve your problem. So tell to your boss, what is the work in the college? They will ask for a letter, they're asking for typing something. So you can store your data in a cloud, and you can modify it and give the command. That document will be printed on in the office of the boss. So in this way, a problem is solved. So at the end, I will give you various solutions. Another problems you people are facing in real life. First problem, you are living far away from your office, and when you reach in your office, your water motor is on. So it is very difficult to go back to the home and switch off. If you are not switch off your motor, maybe some spark in the house. So what can you do? So at that time, we'll think for a technology. So there is a technology that can be solved. You can switch off your motor with the help of your mobile phone. So these all are the applications of big data, IoT, and the cloud computing. So friend, before going to discuss in details, let us see a video of 2 minutes. In that video, one application shown in the real life. Just give me 1 minute so I can show you the. Are you able to see my video? No. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Video is visible?
No, sir. It is
Okay.
stuck on your PPT.
So there is some disruption in it.
Okay. Now I think it's viewable.
Yes, sir.
देखो बेटे को ठीक है
Good morning, Jarvis. Good morning, Mark. I talked to Jarvis using this app I built. It uses artificial intelligence to understand me and figure out what to do. Fresh shirt, fire in the hole. Hell yeah.
As a takeaway, I'd probably just caution everyone to understand that perhaps you should use big data to make your small decisions and use your gut to make the big decision.
Okay, friend. Let us see how these all technology Okay, friend. So now there are three technology, that is big data analytics, IoT, and cloud computing. How these all technology work all together. So let us see. IoT is the source of data. Big data is a problem. Cloud computing is the solution. So in this way, this big data, IoT, and cloud computing are related to each other. So friend, let us see how these all data is stored in the human mind from childhood up to the old age. Huge amount of data are stored in our mind, and we are not going to delete the data from our mind, but how that all data are stored and managed in the human mind. So you can say human mind data, you can say, is the big data. In your mind, some picture are stored, some text are stored, some sound are also stored there. So how these all stored there? So friend, you know, there are certain nature inspired algorithms, and from the nature, various scientists develop the new technology, keeping in mind about the nature. So how first understand how our data is stored in the human mind. Friend, you know, there are two memory in the computer, primary memory and the secondary memory. Before going to process the data, first you have to store that data in the computer memory. Similarly, in your human mind, there are two memory. First memory is known as the short-term memory, and second one is the long-term memory. How these all huge amount of data is stored in your mind and managed. So there are four activities take place in your mind. First one, that is the attention. If you are attentive, all the receiving organs of your body are activated. There are certain input output organs in the human body, just like input output devices in the computer. Your ear that receive the message, your eye receive the message when you are active. The first step, attentive. If you are attentive, all data will be received in your mind. Once your organs are attentive and your organs start receiving the message, another process start in your mind, that is known as the rehearsal. In the case of rehearsal, they are going to correct the message, refine the message, whatever received by the human being. So friend, there are three questions asked at that time. First question, what? A person asking the question, what? That means that is a student. Another question arises in your mind, how? So you can say what and how means a teacher. And then the last question arises, that is why. So what, how and why, then that is come under the scientist. So these questions arises. And then you can manipulate that data, mind manipulate the data, refine the data, remove the error from that information. After cleaning the data, removing the dirtiness in the data, the next step started, that is known as the encoding process. Encoding process means transferring the data from short-term memory to the long-term memory for permanent storage. You can say permanent storage so that you can use in the future. So encoding is a process to transfer the data from short-term memory to long-term memory, and data are stored there for the future use. In the last step, that is known as the retrieval, another action that is known as the retrieval. As soon as you listen, receive some information, what is computer? You receive that from your ear, and then you can search in your mind what is the meaning of a computer, and the meaning of computer is stored in your computer because you are trained from the beginning. You have a teacher taught you, you have learned something and stored in your mind, so you can take it as and immediately you respond to the person who is asking the question. Computer is an electronic device. So in this way, this works. Now friend, let us see how this all technology used in the big data analytics. Most of the people are aware about the machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning is the part of artificial intelligence, and deep learning is the subset of machine learning. As I told you, there is a network between the brain, neurons, all are connected to each other. Similarly, in simple word, you can say deep learning is the network of algorithm. There are certain layers and the message passes from one layer to another layer and data interpreted. So artificial intelligence, our brain working on the intelligence. You are saying that a person is intelligence. How can you say a person is intelligent? Because you train the person, you fed the information to the human being. A human being have a lot of information in the mind, and when you ask a question, they promptly reply. That means you are saying he's intelligent. Similarly, you are going to make the machine intelligent. How can you make the machine intelligent? You have to train the machine, give the lot of information to the machine. So you are going to train the machine. So with the help of machine learning techniques, deep learning techniques, you can train the machine. But once you train the machine, what will happen? Let us see one scenario of the world. It's a survey of Penga. If all machines are trained, so what will happen? That machine can replace the job of a human being. So right now in this PPT, let us see, this is the green color, yellow color and the blue color. You ask a question to anyone in the real world. Do you understand what artificial intelligence? So response will be 72% yes, and 17% no, and 11% not sure. So how you describe what AI can do? What is the capability of artificial intelligence? Here you are going to train the machine, you giving the intelligence to the machine. You are going to make the intelligent computer. You are going to make the intelligent machine. If machine is intelligent, start thinking like a human being. So what is the capability right now? Let us see. The concept of artificial intelligence in a machine use 37% interpret the speech, 35% ability to replicate human interaction. Right now, in the current scenario, in 2 days, the capability of artificial intelligence, that is the 35% ability to replicate human interactions. 50% solve the problem. You can solve your problem with the help of machine. 57% ability to learn. And 51% think logically. Machine can think logically also. This is right now. You can train the machine. Machine can take their own decision and give the answer to your question after thinking. So this is the current scenario. Let us going on. What is the capability of artificial intelligence that is going on? 19% for the play game, 18% run surveillance on people, 31% replace the human job. Right now, most of the people are using the intelligent machine, artificial based machine, so they can do the work of human being. So 31% job replaced by artificial intelligence based machine of a human job. Now let us see the future. What will happen in the coming future? So friends, you know, 10% of the real world will take over by the trained machine, artificial based machine, and 8% in coming world control your mind. Human being will be controlled by the machine. But some people are thinking, saying that do you give the emotion to the machine? Machine can behave like a human being. Can you give the emotion to the machine? Yes, in the coming future, you can give the emotion to the machine, so machine can behave like a human being in the coming future. So these all are the applications of artificial intelligence in the machine, and you are going to train the machine. So friend, right now people are working in the machine learning, deep learning. So remember, machine learning and deep learning is the branch of artificial intelligence, and deep learning is the subset of machine learning. In this, you can train the machine, give the intelligence in the machine with the help of machine learning and the deep learning. So friend, let us see how this can be completed. So the process, how you can process the data. First, data generation. A lot of data, a lot of source of data coming in the real world. One is the source, that is the social media data, credit card, banking, etc. So many sources of data that coming. And data generated, that is the structure, unstructured data. So all the data available on the YouTube, Google. So lot of data are available on the YouTube and the Google. So that all data are the structure. There are no pre-structure of the data, so you can say that is the structure. A structure means a data in the row and column, predefined rule on a data, that is a structure, and there is no predefined rule, that is the unstructured data. So first one, data generations, after that is the big data, and then data storage. So friend, you have a lot of data. So first you have to store the data. Then after getting the data, you have to store the data, and data is stored in the databases and on the server. After getting the data, storing the data, what is the next step? Data processing. Now you have to process the data. How can you process the data? So you can process your data using CPU or GPU and AI algorithm to detect the pattern. Before going to process the data, first you have to pre-process the data, means you have to clean the data, means remove the dirtiness in the data. So after cleaning the data, you can start the process, and then after that, you can use the here artificial intelligence and make the actionable insight, so predict the signals are generated. So these all are the steps for processing the data. Now, friend, let us see one quick overview about the artificial intelligence versus machine learning and the deep learning. It's clear to you with the help of this diagram. This is the deep learning, this is the machine learning, this is the artificial intelligence. So with the help of this diagram, you can say machine learning and deep learning is the sub part of artificial intelligence, and deep learning is the sub part of machine learning. So friend, let us see what is going on in the real world in 1 minute. Just see here a diagram. Just I'm going to show you the survey of 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 and 2020. How much data are generated in the real world? Let us see the scenario in 1 minute or 60 seconds. What is going on in the real world? According to the survey of 2016, you people are using the WhatsApp. 20.8 million data generated, message transmitted in every minute. 20.8 million message transmitted every minute. And in the case of Facebook, 70138 logged every minute. And YouTube, 2.78 million video views every minute. In the case of Google, 2.4 million search query every minute, and so on in the case of 2016. But friend, let us see what happened after 1 year. What is the scenario of data generation in the real world? If data is generated in 1 minute, so you can calculate for 1 hour, 1 week, 1 day and 1 year. Huge amount of data generated. That's why people are going to develop a course, master in data science, people, the birth of data science, and people are going to open a course to manage these all data, because huge amount of data. So one question here, why not we delete the data? If you delete the data, we'll not do some research for the future predictions. So data play important role. Now, right now, people are saying data is gold. Now see the scenario of 2017. The YouTube data was 2.78 million, and now in 2017, it's become 4.1 million YouTube data. Means just double in 1 year. So you can imagine how much data is generated. In the case of WhatsApp, 20.8 millions, and now in 2017, 29.8 million message. So there is not more changes in the data, only difference is 9 millions. So, but in the case of YouTube, data become double. In the case of Facebook, let us see here, 701,389 and 85416. So there is no major changes in generation of data from 2016 to 2017. Now let us see what happened in 2018. This is the scenario of 2017. And let us see, Google 3.5 million search, and 2018 3.7 million search queries. So now see, not lot of data is going to be changed. Slight modification in the search query means 0.2. In the case of Facebook, 9 lakhs and then 973. So here is not more changes. In the case of YouTube, in 4.1 and then 4.3, now see, in 2018, the viewer of YouTube is not increasing so much as increased from 2016 to 2017. Means most of the people are using the YouTube. So there is no chance to add more people because most of the people are using. That's why this changes 4.1 to 4.3 million. Now let us see in the 2019, mid of 2020. In the case of 2019, 3.8 million search query, and then in 2020, 4.1 million search. Means data search in Google increased from 2019 to 2020 because this is the pandemic. So people are sitting at the home. What can they do? So only they people are going to search something from the Google. So the search query increased in 2020, and in the case of YouTube, let us see 4.5 million and then 4.7 million. Means most of the people are using the YouTube. That's why according to the populations, most of the people are using. So that's why it is not going to generate more data because everyone are using the YouTube. But in the case of 2016 and 2017, just double. After that, there is little bit changes in the view of the YouTube. It means most of the people are using the YouTube. So that all about the scenario of the data generated in 1 minute 60 seconds in the real world. So you can imagine how much data will be generated in 1 day, 1 year, and 1 month. So according to this data, the researcher and the industry people are doing their own research by analyzing it using the machine learning, deep learning technique to make their own strategy. Now let us see what will happen in the real world. In year 1990, 0.3 million number of devices connected in the whole world. And in 99, 90.1 million, 2010, 5.0 billion, 2013, 9 billion, 2020, 20.6 billion, and in 2020, that is the projections, 1.0 trillion devices will be connected. So friend, let us see here what will happen. The maximum devices are connected, so there will be problem of congestion. Now let us see another scenario of the real world. What is going on and what data, how much data are generated in the real world. So definition of big data, the characteristics of data, that is the volume, variety, veracity, and variety. These all are the characteristics. That data is known as the big data. So according to volume, let us see, it's a survey of Wipro. In North America, data generation is greater than 3,500 petabyte. In the case of Europe, the data generation is greater than 2,000. In China, data generation 250. In Middle East, 200. In Latin America, 15. And in the case of India, data generation rate is greater than 50. So people are facing problem in North America because huge amount of data are generated there. But in the case of India, less data is generated. This is the comparison according to the world. And let us see in the case of variety, machine is going to people communications, and people to machine communications, and then machine to machine communication means sensors are communicating to each other to exchange the information. From there, data is also generated. Means machine is talking to each other. And in the case of velocity, let us see, 2.9 million emails sent every second in the real world, and 20 hours video uploaded on the YouTube, and 50 million tweets per day. So this is the world scenario of the data. Now, once you have a data, huge amount of data, and you know the source of data, you can analyze that data and make the strategy, you have to take the decision. So how can you do this all? So you have to know how can you analytics the data. Remember one thing, analysis of a data or analytics of a data, there is a lot of different. You are going to analyze it manually, and when you are going to use the tool and technique to analyze the data, that is the analytics. Means you are going to use the technology to analyze the data. So what are the various type of big data analytics? So in the real world, there are 4 types of big data analytics. First type analytics is known as the descriptive. Second one, diagnostic. Third one, predictive. And fourth one, prescriptive. So friend, let us see, how can you differentiate among these all type of big data analytics? So you have to ask a question. If you get the answer, your question is what happened? Means if you are asking the question what happened, that means you are going to use the descriptive big data analytics. So what is the scenario of descriptive big data analytics in the real world? Level of advancement that is low, whether it is incorporate AI and machine learning technique, not usually. And level of popularity, this type of analytics used by almost all organizations. So second type of big data analytics, that is known as the diagnostic. In diagnostic, if you ask a question, why did it happen? If a question is, why did it happen? That means you are going to use the diagnostic. What is the scenario of what? What is the level of achievement, advancement? That is the medium. And sometimes use the concept of artificial intelligence and the machine learning, and that diagnostic big data analytics used by many organizations. Most of the organizations are using diagnostic. Here question, in a business there is a loss. So boss will ask a question, why this loss happened? Why this loss? That means you have to use the diagnostic big data analytics. And next one, that is the predictive. Means you can ask a question, what will happen next? That means you are going to take the decision for the future, coming future. Then you have to use the predictive data analytics. So this is level of advancement that is very high. And whether it is used AI or machine learning, yes, AI and machine learning techniques is used usually, and that predictive analytics is used by a smaller but growing group of organizations. And the last type of predictive, last type of big data analytics, that is known as the prescriptive. Means you have to ask a question, should I do it? Then you are using the prescriptive. Means the level of advancement that is known as the very high, and incorporations of AI and the machine learning that is used always not yet widespread. So there is a scope to work in the case of prescriptive analytics. Now let us see, what is the role of big data analytics and why we people are doing the analytics. We are doing the analytics for cost reductions, fast, better decision making when you are going to take some decision. So on what factor you are going to take the decision? First, you have to analyze the scenario, analyze the data, analytics the data, and then you can get the decision. So fast, better decision making, big data analytics is used. And another applications of big data analytics is, so to launch a new product and the services. So there you can use the big data analytics. Now let us see how this all big data analytics is performed. So let us see, here is the transaction data, take the data, cleansing the data, then clean the data. After cleaning the data, report generation and the report. Then you can dimension aggregations, then come to the big data cup, And from here, data sampling and feature extraction. First, you have to make the sample, and this is the feature extractions, and then training the data, and then data partition, testing data and training data. Then finally, model creation, draft model, model validation, and model. This diagram show how you can do the work, how can do the big data analytics, and this is known as the deep analysis. This is the big data analytics. This is now, friend. Let us see here. You can get the data, and after getting the data, you don't start the analytics. After getting the data, you have to do the pre-process the data. In the real world, data is dirty. So you have to remove the dirtiness from the data. If data is clean, then your decision will be right. If data is not clean, data is dirty, your decision will not be right. Your decision will not be quality decision. So first you have to remove the outlier, noise. What do you mean by dirty of data? Means in a data there is a duplications of record, noises in the data, outlier in the data. That means data is dirty. So you have to remove the noise, dirtiness, outlier to make the clean data. So that data is termed as the quality data. If data is quality, your decision will be quality. After that, you have to train the machine. When you are going to train the machine, first you have to divide the data in two parts, one for training purposes, another for the testing purposes. So try to take the maximum data for the training and minimum data for the testing. And then you test your model and finally validate your model and give the model. So in this way, this big data, machine learning, deep learning used to develop your own model. Now let us see what are the branches, what are the area where people are using the big data. First one, that is the fraud detection. Banking sector are using such type of big data analytics application to detect the fraud. Another type of research, social media analytics. Some people are doing the research in the social media, taking the data from the social media, they're analyzing it and doing their research to solve their problem in the case of social media. Another field, that is the sentiment analysis. So maximum people having the sentiment, and some people are sentimentally attached with one to each other. So there you can also, you are using the Facebook, you are typing a message, that message hurt a person. So you can do also there how many people hurted you and from how many people you hurted. So you can also use there. So another, that is the predictive analytics to predict the futures, risk analysis, customer segmentations, product performance, campaign analysis, customer relationship management. So these all are the field where you can use the concept of big data analytics. Now, let us see what are the tools and techniques are required. So let us see end-to-end platform. So business data analysis, tool and technology. For business and data, advanced analytics, the tools are available as Stanford NLP, Open NLP, RapidMiner, and then the Spark are for data visualization, tips, JSON, library, and data management, Mango, Hadoop, Elasticsearch. And for big data integration acquisition, you can use the Tika, Talent, Analytics. And so cloud computing, that is the infrastructure as a service, data as a service, and software as a service. So these all are the tools available for you to do your own analytics. Now, friend, let us see. You heard something about the big data and you are aware about the big data. Now, another technology that is known as the IoT. IoT is the Internet of Things. Means each and every object of real life will be connected with the internet. That is the IoT. Means you are going to connect your fan with your mobile phone. In your mobile phone, there is internet. So you can control your fan with the help of mobile phone. You are going to control your tube light, your bulb with the mobile phone. You are going to control, close the door, open the door with the help of your mobile phone. You are going to open the AC, motor. It is at a real. You can connect your mobile phone with the table and chair. only give the message and location share will be shifted from desired locations. So there is a lot of revolutions about to come, and now it is coming to the implementation. Already people are using it. So when you are going to buy something, electronic devices, on that device it is written IoT enabled devices. So no need to attach the IoT devices. And in old machine, old AC, old fan, old motor, you can simply attach the sensors and connect it with your mobile phone, and then you can control your all devices, home appliances with the help of your mobile phone. So let us see what is going on right now. So in greater than 25 billion devices will be connected by 2020. In this scenario, these all will be connected by the end of 2020. Greater than 25 billion devices will be connected. And innovate with IoT to gain new revenue stream and gain a cost saving and projection traffic. But if you are going to connect these all devices, so what about the traffic? There will be a lot of congestion. So what will happen? Let us see. Projected traffic of 44 zettabyte or 44 trillion GB in the next 5 years. And capacity management and security will be the primary challenges for all organizations. Friend, if you are going to connect all things with the internet, so security will be major challenges. On the person who are working in the security, then that will be in a great demand in coming future. Now let us see. Internet of Things come along with the machine learning, big data, artificial intelligence, blockchain used for the security, and augmented reality. So these all are combined with the IoT to give the new concept in the real world. The connecting all devices is also the new concept, and this is really in the implementation of the human being life. Now technological descriptions, let us see. Another is the hot topic and people are aware about it, the blockchain. So decentralization of control, immutability of data and transparency in the network. IoT, a network of a smart interconnected device that can sense, analyze and act, and AI, autonomous analysis learning and decision-making capabilities. So these all are the technical disruptions. In now, if you are going to do the research, so there is a comparison of open source platform, IoT platform. So if you are going to do the research in this field, so there are a lot of software. So this is the IoT software platform, that is a IoT platform, and device management capacity, yes, security linked encryptions, protocol for data collections, these all. Similarly, these all are the softwares available in the market, that all are the open source software. You can see where you want to do your work, what type of problem, which software will be helpful for your work. So these all are the software, and the features of these softwares are given here, so you can go and use it. Now, three essential feature technology, that is the data collection through IoT and capture, storage, analysis of data, or data-based learning. So these all are the essential feature for the technology. Now, friend, let us see another technology that is known as the cloud computing. So, friends, let us see. When you are going to work in computer science, or you want to use the computer, first you have to buy the computer. And once you buy the computer of i5, and after 1 month, the i5 become the old and new version i7 come in the market. So it's surprised. Why should not we wait for 1 month? After 1 month, you can get the new technology. So what can you do? You can buy the technology, use it, but sometimes hard disk is not working, RAM is not working. So first you have to replace the RAM hard disk. But if you are using the cloud computing technology, you can't replace the physical hardware of your machine. Without changing the physical hardware of your machine, you can take the facilities of latest technology, i5, memory, etc., without changing the hardware, without changing the physical hardware of the machine. You can use the configuration of latest machine. So that is the beauty of this cloud. Another, you are interested to use a software. So what are you doing right now? You are buying the software, installing on your machines, and then using it. So if you are using the cloud computing, no need to buy the machine, no need to buy the software, no need to install the machine. It is ready for use. Only you can take the subscription of a particular software for 1 month, 1 day, 2 days from the service provider. There are a lot of service providers are available in the market. They can provide your services for 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, and what type of software, what type of hardware you require. So no need for physical installations. So it will be easy for the human being. That's why right now most of the company using the concept of cloud computing. And you know the applications of cloud computing, Google Drive. If your data in the Google Drive, your mobile is damaged, even then your data will not be lost. You bring in another mobile, new devices, and connected with your all data will come on your new mobile. So this is the beauty of cloud computing. And now cloud come in the 4 flavor. First flavor known as the software as a service. Second flavor, infrastructure as a service. Third one, platform as a service. And next one, desktop as a service. And recently people developed new concept, database as a service, etc. So let us see these all fundamental things. What is the software as a service? So software as a service, software deliver methodology that provide license multi-tenant access to software, and it function remotely as a web-based services. Usually build based on usage. How amount of software you are going to use, according to usage, you can make the payment. Usually multi-tenant environment, high scalable architectures. So now, what are the company available in the market that provide these facilities? So software as a service, Salesforce.com company provide this facility. NetSuite, Austin, Facebook, Google. These all are the company available in the market that provide software as a service. So friend, you can take the services from this company if you are interested to use a particular type of software because you have not enough money to buy that software. So you can subscribe it as per your user, as per usage, you can make the payment whether you are using 1 day, 1 month, etc. Another, that is the infrastructure as a service. So is a deliver of a technology infrastructure as an on-demand scalable services. So usually it is also the bill-based and usage, and multi-tenant virtualizations can be completed and manage the services. So infrastructure as a services means no need to buy any hardware. You have an old machine. On that old machine, without changing any physical devices, physical hardware, you can take the facility. If you want to take the i7, you can take it. You want to take a hard disk in the TB, gigabyte, etc., any and other RAM, etc. All the component of computer you can take from the cloud without replacing any hardware of the computer. So it will be easy for you. Only take the subscription and which company is going to give it. So these are all are the company that is the OP Source, GQ Grid, Blizzard, AT&T, Terramark, Entity Company, and many more companies come in the market to provide the infrastructure as a services from the people. Another, due to lack of time, I'm going to do it fast. Platform as a services. So platform as a services that provide all the facilities required to support the complete life cycle of building, delivering web application and service entirely from the internet. So this provide the environment for developing a new application, web-based applications, means operating system, software, all environment, whatever environment required to develop a new web-based application. So typically application must be developed with a particular platform in your mind. Multi-tenant environment is also there. highly scalable multi-tier architectures. So what are the company available in the market to provide the platform as a services? So Amazon Web Services, Azure, 3Tera, Rockspace, Salesforce.com. These, rather than these all company, many more companies are available in the market who are providing the platform as a services. And now let us see, friend, benefits of managing big data via cloud. So that is reduce the infrastructure cost, reduce the operational complexity, consistent management, automation through the entire estate. So these all are the benefits of cloud computing. So friends, let us see another huge big data in cloud computing for the business. So let us see, this is your cloud computing, this is the big data, and both are huge for your own business. So in the case of big data, reduction in the fraud, log analysis, search engine, e-commerce, benefit of online publishing, help, and in the case of cloud computing, data backup, mobile, sharing the information, services, development, and the test. So these two are huge amount of data are stored in the cloud. So let us see high expectations by moving analytics to the cloud company that expect. So faster deployment, that is 51%, 44% better performance, 46% improved security, 44% faster insight into the data, 43% easier access by the users, 33% direct access to the cloud storage, 41% cheaper maintenance, 35% easier access to technology, so 27% faster price. So friend, these all are the expectations, high expectation from the industries, and people are going to use this all. So friend, due to lack of time, how much time is remaining? Almost time is over. Okay, so no problem, I'll give time for discussion. So friend, if you have any doubt and one question come from a participant, just answering it. So now it is time for the question and answer.
Sir,
Yeah.
you can see in the chat box, or can I take questions? I can also take questions.
Okay, ma'am, you can.
So the first question is from one of our students, Anupam Jain. He wants to know how data is stored in a cloud. Suppose he has been offered 1 GB of cloud storage and have a PDF file of 5 MB. Then is that file stored in cloud as 5 MB or is it compressed? And if it is compressed, then what is the space used by cloud for storing 1 GB of data? If it is not compressed, then will in future, will we run out of storage?
Okay, very nice question.
Yes, sir.
So people are using Google Drive, Dropbox. So up to some size, a space is free. You can upload it. If your size, a space is allocated for you, if your file is greater than the allocated space, the provider requests you to take more space and make the payment. Data is not compressed. Data is stored as it is, as per the available space in the cloud. So in the Google Drive, some GB data is free, you can store. After that, you have to take the more space from service provider. Another question here, data is highly secured. Your password login will not be aware by anyone. It is managed automatically.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for the information. This is a question from Noshad Ahmed. How the data is stored in cloud?
How data is stored in a cloud? Okay. So there is a data center built by a company, and from that data set, huge amount server will be there in the data center. And from that data center, that service provider provide the space for any users who are demanding for that. So there is a huge amount of a huge number of server located in the data center, and they are making the route. So there are, suppose there are 6 server. and you request your data to store, the balance concept is used. Server balance. First data will be given to first server, second server, first come, first server, yeah, round robin. So you can say that is the load balancing among the server. So there is so many algorithm used to transfer your data from one server to another server. 5 servers, server 1, server 2, server 3. And you have taken the space, and service provider provided your space from server 1. And there is also the concept of backup in another server. If one server is down, data will be parallelly stored there. From there you can get it. So there is no halt in the services. So in this way, data is stored in the cloud. And to set up the data center, huge amount of money is required. So big company setting their own data center.
Thank you, sir. This is a question from one of our students, Sadhil. Cloud computing is undoubtedly beneficial for both business and individuals, but aren't cloud environments vulnerable to hackers, VMs, or other cyber criminal attacks? Additionally, what about the concerns regarding data privacy and data confidentiality?
Very nice. Just
Very
have
nice
to
question.
give a quote, Saudhani hati, durghatna ghati. Means you are using the internet and computer. You are in a cyber world. You have to take care. Once your password and logging is given to anyone, so anyone can access. Your password is weak. When you are going to use the cloud, you have to make the strong password, like character, uppercase, lowercase, a special symbol in your password. So your password will be strong. Once your password is strong, no one going to get it. But in some service provider also providing the concept of OTP, just like in a Facebook, two-way authentications. If anyone going to access your account from other machine, then they will ask a question, send a message, send a code. If you enter that code, then your data will be accessed by anyone, otherwise no one. These all are managed automatically in the case of cloud computing. There is a service level agreement also there. If something lost, who will be responsible? So service provider will be responsible or the user is responsible. So when you are going to take the services of cloud, there is an agreement, SLA, service level agreement. But in the case of confidentiality, your data is highly secure. In the beginning, there is a problem that is known as the hidden covert attack. But right now it is completely secure.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this is a question from Mohammad Rahman. How does the Internet of Things, IoT, affect our everyday lives?
Oh, just I'm giving you one example. When you are going to take the attendance of a student, you are taking on a attendance on a register. But if you use the sensor in the classroom, as the student enter in the classroom, it will record. If you give me 1 and 2 minutes, I can show a video of that one, how this all work. And that all photograph is stored in the computer memory in a particular folder. That is one thing, one application. In daily life, when you are going to college and you are living alone in your flat, you open the light, you open your light is open, your motor is open, and in the college, teacher is teaching the student, and meanwhile, a student come the information in the mind, oh, I forget to switch off the light and motor, so there will be problems in the mind. They are always disturbed. So if you are using the applications of IoT on a mobile phone, simply open the app, close it, so your home motor will be off. Or door is also, if you are using the IoT concept in your door, so you can also close your door from here and there. So there are a lot of applications. If you allow me 2 minutes, so I can show you the real applications of that is the attendance. At the end, I'll show it. If any question?
Sir, there is one question from Sudipto Ghosh.
Yeah.
As IoT devices can directly use the serverless architecture using cloud functions, are there any algorithms we can implement to analyze the live data stream and provide perspective analytics as a service by utilizing pre-trained models?
Okay, very good. Very nice
Yes.
question. And let us see, understand it. There is so many free cloud. First, whether you are going to use the Arduino based applications or Raspberry Pi. So let us see Arduino based. You can make the circuit, attach the sensors with your Arduino. Okay, and then go to the thinkspeak.com. So there is a key, and write key and read key. So from that key, you can write a program in C or Python and make the connection with the Wi-Fi. Just a minute, I'm going to show you one demo. I have done it. So let us see here. I have developed a program to get for the agriculture. You can get the data from agriculture land. That is the temperature, humidity. This is the robot is moving around the agriculture field and taking the data from agriculture field, humidity, temperature, insect, etc. With the help of these all sensors, I have attached the sensor here. These all are the sensors and connected. This is the Arduino board are connected, and then you can make the connection with the thinkspeak.com and connect with the mobile phone. So with the help of your mobile phone, you can monitor, and all data will come from the agriculture land to the thinkspeak.com, and their data is storing, and there you can use the algorithm, machine learning algorithm, analyze. So that come on the real-time data analytics using the IoT in the cloud environment. So you are using the sensor, means you are using the IoT, transferring the data to the cloud. That is the thinkspeak.com is a cloud, that is the free cloud. For education purpose, for business purpose, it is not allowed. Remember one thing, if you are going to use the thinkspeak.com, so this thinkspeak.com is freely available for the education purpose. If you are going to do your own business, so that not allowed. Then you have to purchase it. So once store the data in the cloud, and there you can analyze the data using the machine learning, MATLAB, etc. So in this way, you can do this.
Thank you, sir. Now, this is a question again from Anupam. He wants to know, shouldn't we start researching on making any type of data use less space on our storage centers?
Okay. So you can use the concepts of cloud computing, transfer your data in the storage, in the cloud. There is no problem for storing of your data in a cloud, but in your own machine, a lot of problems because your data space is limited. So limited data can be stored. But in the case of cloud, huge amount of data you can store. So a storage problem is not right now. So you can store their data. You can make the algorithm to store data, to arrange the data. So many concept of data structure is used to manage the data in efficient way so that you can save the space and the time also.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this is a question from Mohammad Rahman. How does IoT influence the development of smart cities?
Okay, right now, a smart city is a very good concept. What do you mean by the smart city? That means all technology implemented. A smart sewer system, a smart light system, a smart light system, a grid system, a smart hospital. Recently, we have developed a new concept, IoT-based ambulance system that is available on the net, in the cover in the paper also. In that is very one component of the smart city. Once a patient in an ambulance and you are going to a particular hospital, and in that hospital bed is not available, a specialized doctor is not available. So after going there, you have to move to the next hospital, then the next hospital, There may be the problem of a traffic. So we have developed in an ambulance IoT-based system. They will detect the route and connect with the different hospital. And after connecting the different hospital, see, and one symptom that is also get the data from the body and send to the hospital, whether the problem of this type of patient is facility available in the hospital or not. If hospital is available, then this will decide the shortest route and directly go to the hospital and see a patient can be admitted. So that is the one component of the smart city. You can make the other type of facility. So you can say city with the less of technology. But right now in India, I'm not have seen the various developed smart cities. But people are making the plan to develop the smart cities.
Thank you, sir. So now we'll take up the last question. Everyone wants to know, Hamid, Muhammad, and we've got many questions from Facebook as well. How much safer is to use cloud storage, privacy, or theft? Everyone wants to know this.
In the beginning, people are scared, but right now it is completely safe because good technology, good security technology is implemented. But somehow, maybe some problems, but let us see in the beginning, the people using the ATM. In the beginning, they hesitate to use the ATM because money may be fraud. But right now, most of the people are using the ATM. Similarly, in the beginning, cloud computing concept was the new, but now it is matured and security concern is given by the service provider. So no need to worry about it. You can store your data in a cloud. That's why most of the people are using the Google Drive, Dropbox, and I realize there is no problem. So it is okay. You can use it.
Thank you, sir. I think that's the end of it. I can't find any questions. So you can see your chat box if you find any new question, because I've just gone through it.
Okay, one question from a recommendation for book, thesis, journals, dissertations, magazine specific to type of analysis, and then we can read go to more insight. Okay, there is my book recently published by the Springer, IoT concept and applications. You can get it. So many things will be available there. And another book says journals, that is the IEEE Internet of Things journals, and so many journals. Simply you go to the Web of Science and search the title IoT or IoT with cloud. So many journals will be listed in front of you, and you can choose, see the paper available on there. Another, please do more of these interesting informative webinar. Any book ho gaya. Sir, do data science analytics refer. Okay, data science and data analytics. One question very interesting. Do data science, Ritesh Kumar Singh, data science and data analysis refer to the same things? In data science, you are using the data analytics. You can say that is the sub part of the data science. In the data science, you are using the machine learning, deep learning, etc. That is a big branch. In the data science, you are doing the analytics, either the general data analytics or the big data analytics. Okay. Another.
And sir, there is one question from Shadab also regarding electrical engineering. How can we utilize electrical engineering, IoT, and doing some project works?
Okay, okay, very nice. So just I'm going to show you one sensor. Let us see this sensor. This is the sensor, optical sensor. In electrical, no, sorry, it's coming the mechanical. When you are going to use the machine, so you can, the car is moving, so you can attach the optical sensor. So as some obstacle will be there, you can. In the electrical, this is used in the smart grid for the electrical to control the electricity. So you can make the smart grid. There you can use the concept of IoT, or also to control the flow of electric. There you can also use the sensor, how amount of megawatt current should be supplied or not. And also in this way, you can use various places you can use in the electrical. Any more?
Sir, I think that's the end of it. Thank you, sir, for such an informative session. The talk was very insightful and we really learned a lot from it, we as well as our students. And the knowledge you have imparted to us as well as our students, we have learned a lot from it and it has really widened our horizon. Thanks a lot, sir. I would also like to thank the principal of our college for constant guidance, motivation, and inspiration. I would also like to thank Dr. Raghavendra, who is the program coordinator and who helped to arrange this fruitful webinar. And I would also like to thank the participants for making this webinar a huge success. And I would like to thank my entire webinar committee. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. Of Dr. Anju Bajaj, Dr. Raghavendra, Ms. Anupriya, Ms. Baljit, Ms. Ravinder Pant for giving us all the technical support. He's always there for us whenever we need him. Mr. Manvendra, Dr. Amit Vishwakarma, and Mr. Abid Hussain. Thanks a lot, sir, for giving your valuable time to us.
Thank you,